Watchmen, Chapter 12, A Stronger Loving World. Blood everywhere. An alien monster has been teleported into New York City, killing millions upon arrival. The squid-like beast has ripped through buildings and crashed into streets, leaving corpses all over. In Antarctica, Veidt explains to Dan and Rorschach how he engineered his plan. John and Laurie also arrive in Antarctica, only to watch Veidt declare success as they walk into his fortress. In the name of helping human society rebuild, Veidt has killed millions, leading to the stoppage of war across the world. After discussion, the mass heroes decide to keep the peace across the world by keeping the secret of who brought the alien monster to New York City. Only one person, Rorschach, disagrees and storms out, ready to tell the world the truth. John intercepts him before he can leave and kills Rorschach, who takes off his mask before death, revealing his true self, Walter Kovacs. Veidt justifies his actions, asking John to stay on Earth and help him build a new utopia, but John declines, stating nothing ever ends, and leaving for Mars to create life himself. After some time passes, Dan and Laurie make amends with Sally, while a writer in the New Frontiersman has the ability to set the truth free, but has a decision to make on whether to tell the world. Key themes that can be seen in this chapter are fear and unity, which appear through the many allusions and references Moore and Gibbons created when constructing this comic. A Stronger Loving World is the title of this chapter. It refers to the John Cale song Sanities, part of the album Music for a New Society, alluding to the new society Veidt has just created by killing all of these people. Here are the lyrics to the song A Stronger Loving World. The first set of allusions I'm going to describe fall under the category of death and destruction. On this panel, the first thing that catches your eye is the big pink poster. On this poster, the words Pale Horse are written. This is a reference to the Pale Horse in Revelation 6:8, who's ridden by Death himself. Death itself has arrived in the form of the alien monster and has wreaked havoc on the city. Pale Horse was also a death metal band whose lead singer was named Red Death, and whose followers were mostly Knot Tops, a New York City gang. Right under the Pale Horse is the word Crystal Knot. This was the name of the band that opened for Pale Horse, but also translate to the Night of Broken Glass, when Nazis destroyed synagogues, Jewish homes, and Jewish businesses in a massacre against Jews, kicking off the Holocaust and a belief that killing a large amount of people would ultimately lead the world to unity. We can also observe the broken glass on Madison Square Garden where Crystal Knot would open. The third page of this chapter provides three more distinct allusions. First, the Gunga Diner has been destroyed by the alien monster, signifying the end of Rorschach's attempt to find out who killed the comedian. Rorschach knows Veidt is responsible, but it's too late to save New York City. We can also see The Day the Earth Stood Still. This is a film about an outsider who has come with a destructive being that could kill millions in order to save the world from itself. There are significant similarities to Klaatu's plan in this movie and Veidt's plan in Watchmen. Lastly, the word utopia is written twice on this page, and neither time can you see the full word. Allusions to a broken utopia can be seen here, as there was a significant price to pay for world peace, a price that some would say wasn't worth it. Page 5 has a sign that says Promethean Cab Company, bringing light to the world, a reference to the Greek myth that Prometheus brought fire into the world. Prometheus did not only bring fire, but also brought joy and hope. Next up is God. This chapter has many references to John, also known as Dr. Manhattan, as a god. If we look at the death and destruction allusion about the Promethean Cab Company, their slogan, Bringing Light to the World, can relate back to Dr. Manhattan innovating electric power, a commodity that all of the cabs use. Similarities between Prometheus bringing light and hope and Dr. Manhattan bringing electric power can be seen. John's godlike capabilities don't stop there. He uses tachyons to see the future, something no normal human can do. His lack of emotion when seeing the destruction in New York City also gives off a godlike aura. Later in the chapter, John walks on water, in the same manner in which Jesus walked on water. Later, when asked to stay and help build Veidt's new utopia, John declines, saying he wants to go to Mars and create life himself. Only God can create life himself, making John more similar to God than human. The last section of allusion I'm going over in this chapter involves the aftermath and alternatives to the original Watchmen comic. If you look closely at the bottom of this page, you can see something that everyone will recognize. It's a smiley face pin that was once the comedian's, with the same blood trail at the beginning of the comic. We can also see the same red stain at the end of the comic with the writer of the New Frontiersman, who has the ability to tell the world the truth of what actually happened regarding the New York City massacre. Other than the pin, there are two more allusions that can be seen on this page. The most tantalizing image on this page is the opening of the alien monster. The monster's bottom can be seen as a vaginal opening. In this case, the destruction caused by the alien monster is a rebirth for a new yet broken utopia that Vate is going to attempt to build. For the monster in Vate, this destruction is seen as a gift of new life, which all relates back to the monster's vaginal opening. Over the beginning pages of this chapter, the word war followed by a question mark can be seen multiple times. I see this as an alternative to the destruction caused by the alien monster. If it weren't for Vate's plan, then war would be imminent, as can be seen on page 19, where the entire world finds a common enemy and ends all worlds for the greater good of humanity. In light of events, Gorbachev, the last leader of the Soviet-era Russia, pulls out his troops from Afghanistan and works with the rest of the world in peace. Before we get to the end of the comic, I want to talk about the Hiroshima lovers. While the depiction of the Hiroshima lovers' shadow most definitely depicts the death and destruction that has occurred in New York City, I saw similar silhouettes twice more in this chapter. When Lori and Dan embrace, you can see a similarity in both shadows. We can also see it in Rorschach's mask on the very next panel. I see the silhouette image as a way to sum up all that has happened. The lovers still stand after devastation, signaling a rebirth. Dan and Lori have made it through all the troubles and can finally be with one another, rebirthing their intimacy. And finally, Rorschach's mask signals his rebirth into his ways. He sees the world in black and white and will always go back to his roots, no matter the consequences. His death is the rebirth of the world that is broken but now peaceful. This is the last page of the comic. It references the song Sanities with the last quote, but the writer on this page gets a ketchup drip in the same manner the blood dripped on the comedian's pin. This brings the book full circle to the reason Rorschach investigated the death in the first place, to uncover the truth. These are my works cited. That's everything you need to know over Chapter 12, A Stronger Loving World.